Hello, pranam and namaste to everyone present over here with their utmost attention. A very warm good morning and thank you so much for joining us with today's webinar. I am Anshu Kumari, a second year computer science engineering student at Government Engineering College, Bilaspur, and your host for this session. A session that will surely teach you the biggest lesson of your life. That is, excuses never works, but eventually learning from failure works miraculously. It's my immense pleasure to welcome you all to this national webinar organized by State Project Implementation Unit, that is SPIU Chhattisgarh, in association with Government Engineering College Bilaspur. And now moving ahead in the series, the way we look at failure is the root mantra of our successes. Because failure is something that each one of us has to face one day. Once, twice, thrice, number really does not matter. The thing that matters is how we deal with it. Because the difference between average people and achieving people is their perception and responses to failure. Once Nelson Mandela said that, do not judge me by my success, judge me by how many times I fail and got back up again. वो कहते हैं ना, असफलता से सीखना जरूरी है, उसे अपना अंजाम मान लेना ये तो सही नहीं. And this is the reason why we are here, to learn from our failure, because eventually it will make us stronger. Through this webinar organized by SPIO Chhattisgarh in collaboration with GEC Bilaspur. And the title is Why is Failure Necessary for Success? क्योंकि असफलता ही हमें सिखाती है, हमें हमारी गलतियों से मिलवाती है. और अगर हम अपनी गलतियों को जानेंगे ही नहीं तो आगे बढ़ेंगे कैसे? So now moving ahead in the series, things that an administrator do are remarkable and exceptional for the team as well as the organization. And with these words, I would like to invite Mr. Divakar Mishra sir, State Project Administrator, SPIO Chhattisgarh. Over to you, sir.
Hello, good morning to all.
Morning, sir.
We are very happy to welcome a very young and dynamic Ishan Vats in our webinar, Why is Failure Necessary for Success? He belongs to Kathmandu, has done his +2 from Bhilai, BTech from NIT Jalandhar, and Masters in Service Design from London. A small incident about his coming to Bhilai. After 10th, as happens in most of our families, his father took him to Kota, which is supposed rightly or wrongly to be the entry point for IITs. It was agreed there that he will join one of the institutes. At dinner, he asked his father, is it necessary to join IIT? I will give credit to his father for not insisting it, and that's why he came to Bhilai. While the IT boom has brought better opportunities for our young engineers, it has also left behind a trail of parents who are left to fend for themselves in their graying years. Ishan founded an NGO in Noida and helped in their medical care and giving them other facilities. Presently, he is working with visually impaired people in London, providing him all possible help to lead an inclusive life. He has chosen a different path for himself and decided to help the really needy people who unfortunately are not much cared for. He is just 30 and has dreams of helping nearly 30 crore visually people all over the world. It is a very big dream, and since he has started very early, we are confident that he will realize his dream. He is living his dream and is making a positive contribution to the society. Ishan is a people person, loves meeting and helping them. For youngsters like him, the Vedic saying, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, the whole world is a family, holds true, with, of course, a special emphasis to India and Chhattisgarh, since he has done his +2 from Bhilai. The topic of the webinar is very interesting, how in our society Somehow in our society, failure is not talked about. In fact, it is frowned upon. So, whereas failure is in fact very important for success, provided we take lessons from them, not repeat those mistakes, rise up again quickly from failure, and then we get a little closer to success. We should also equip our youngsters to deal with failures and give them emotional skills to deal with rejection and failure in the life. I welcome Dr. B.S. Chawla, our most dynamic principal of GEC Bilaspur. We have 4 NBA accredited programs and we are going for the 5th one. I also welcome Dr. R.N. Khare, Principal VEC Lakhanpur, all respected principals, faculty members, participants, especially our dear young students in this webinar. We have 450 participants in this webinar from Coimbatore, Jalandhar, Ishan's alma mater, Jagdalpur, Mysore, Bhubaneswar, Lakhanpur, and of course the co-host Bilaspur. I hope all our students will pay full attention to his talk, ask questions, resolve queries and give suggestions. We have requested him to keep sufficient time for interactions. I really thank Vivek Singh, Anshu Singh, Ritika Pandey, Uday Upadhyay. Many of them are students of GEC Bilaspur who are helping in comparing, designing poster and e-certificates. I welcome you all to a great session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So now moving ahead, learning from the leader is the best thing one can do because leaders' guidance are exceptional and super awesome. And with these words, I would like to invite Dr. B.S. Chawla, sir, Principal of Government Engineering College, Bilaspur.
Thank you, Ansu. Good morning, all. Most respected Devakar Mishra, sir, SPA, and our source of inspiration, and in fact, the person behind our success, the main person, the main architect of our success, Mishra, sir. Key speaker, very young, Mr. Ishan, with a very fine background of technical management and then some kind of his own venture and serving humanity. And in the young age, thinking of success and failure. Though his age is very less, and I believe that he might not have encountered many failures in this age, but even then, he is here to guide all the students, and I'm sure his talk will be very much beneficial. Professor Khare, all HODs, faculties, students, and audience. The topic chosen is very interesting, and students will definitely learn the importance of failure. As we all have gone through a story of great scientist of century, Thomas Edison, who invented electric bulb. And we often read that before final invention, he encountered 1,000 failures. And when people asked him that you don't regret for those failures, looking to your caliber and talent, he told, no. It's part of the success, part of the journey. And I have learned 1,000 ways of not doing the things correctly. Those are the ways which I have learned. We all know, students, for any project, if you see alphabetically, even then you will see first thing is always taking chance. That is C, alphabet C. Then we put some efforts, that is E. After putting efforts, we face failure, that is F. But we should not stop here. Once you put in your efforts and you are failing, that is one part. Now come to second side of the coin. Now you have to go for perseverance. The approach not to give up. Again, retry. And finally, alphabet S comes, that is success. So this you should keep in your mind. Success and failures are two sides of coin. They are eminent. Whenever you take any attempt, take a chance, You should be ready for that. But again, as Diwakar sir has told, you should not stop. Correct your mistake, and again, with full effort, with full zeal, you should take another chance. So today's talk will definitely teach you how to be a successful person, how to achieve success in any venture. With these, I express my thanks to all the team members, organizers, Professor Vivek, his team, Anshu, Ritika, Uday, and all my young students. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And today we have with us our special guest, Mr. Ishan Vats, founder and chief design officer of VIP World Services, where VIP stands for Visually Impaired People. He did masters in service design from University of Arts London, that is UAL, and bachelor's in E&C engineering from NIT Jalandhar. He has done his schooling from DPS Bhilai. VIP World designs websites, apps, and services to be accessible to VIP people, that is, visually impaired people, so that they can use technology as people with sight would do. He even dreams of designing solutions for 285 million visually impaired people across the world, so that they can lead an inclusive, convenient, and prosperous life. This shows that he is connected with his roots very strongly and wants to bring positive changes in the society. And with these words, I would like to invite Ishan Vats sir to guide us further. Over to you, sir.
Hi, hello. Can you hear me well?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for very kind words, and Diwakar sir, Chara sir, thank you for the warm welcome. One, yes, when I came to India with my parents, and we were wondering if I should join a coaching for study for coaching for IITs. We went to Kota, and there I had a lot of fear of being alone, and I was very scared, as in competing there. And that's why I asked my father to move to a different place where it was a bit more familiar. So we moved to Bhilai. I very well remember the day, and I hope I can share some stories around that, so that you guys can learn from my failures. So I'll share the screen now. I hope you can see my screen. So thank you all once again. Today I'm here to talk about why is failure necessary for success. And to begin with, I'd request everyone to log into slido.com. And once you type slido.com in your mobile phones, smartphones, or computers, there's a space where you need to put a code. So you can put this code 93960. Right. So once you do that, you can see my screen. I'm going to share. So my first question to all of you is, which city are you logging in from? Let's give 1 minute, and let's type in from which city are you logging in from. So once you go to slido.com, you just have to type in the number 93960.
Sir, we need to type slido.com exactly.
Yes, SLIDO. You can maybe see. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. We can. We are able to see your screen.
Perfect. So we have some responses from Bangalore, Coimbatore, Bilaspur. Where else? Where are you logging in from? Ringus. Oh, interesting. Never heard of place. Salem, Metto.
What was the code, sir?
The code
Yes,
is
sir.
939.
93960.
Yes. So I want everybody to log in to Slido, because we will be interacting. We'll make it a conversation rather than me talking all along. Okay, good to know. Good to know. We have people from Lakhanpur, Kishanganj, Ambikapur, Jamshedpur, and hello. That's a nice place. Perfect. Please do keep answering the poll. Okay, so after putting in which city you're logging in from, let's move forward to the topic that we're going to cover. And to start with, what is the definition of failure and success? And if you notice, there's a very slight difference. Failure is a state or condition of not meeting a desirable or intended objective, whereas success is a state or condition of meeting a defined range of expectations. So the difference is only of not. And the further explanation of both these terms, it's very similar, as in the criteria for failure depends on context and may be relative to a particular observer or belief system. And the same stands for success. So what is the relationship between them? What is the relationship between these two terms, which are mostly used throughout around the world? Well, there are two important relationships. Failure starts where success ends, and it defines the limits of success. And secondly, success often follows failure. So it frequently occurs after other options have been tried and failed. And they have a very close relationship, as you can see. Both these terms are relative. It may be a success parameter for me, maybe a failure parameter for someone else, and vice versa. So I'd like to know, what do you feel about success or failure? What is your definition? I'm gonna start a poll in Slido again, and request all of you to go back to slido.com and answer this question. What does success or failure mean for you? Let's give this a minute. Yeah, when you're procrastinating, maybe you're not able to start work. Learning experience, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Yes. Failure is the first step. Yes. Success is relative, as we found out from the definition. Success is achieved through continuous learning of failures. Wonderful. Any other new perspective that you can think of? Success means achieving your dreams. Success is satisfaction. Yeah. In some cases, yes. In some cases, maybe not. Success is a result of our continuous efforts towards particular failure. Could be, right? It's just the way we perceive. Wonderful. So now I know that you are paying attention and you have also very wonderful views, and everybody has some perspective on the topic. So wonderful. And now I'd like to proceed and give some examples around how success has been perceived by different people. Right. So my first example would be J.K. Rowling. She if mostly she's famous for the book Harry Potter. And the story is that in 1982, she applied for Oxford University. She's a Scottish woman, and she applied for Oxford. She got rejected. Then she went to France to study in an average school. From 1982 to 1990, she struggled a lot. She had a first baby. She got divorced from her first marriage, and she had to face a lot of poverty. And in 1990, she was going from London to Manchester in a train ride where she uh, created the idea of Harry Potter. It took her 3 years, from 1990 to 1993, to finish the first 3 chapters of this book. So you can imagine how procrastination, sometimes it takes time to create something wonderful. And in the next 2 years, she could finish the first book. She says that it is impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you have failed by default. So she believes that failing is living. The more you try is actually the more you're trying to explore life. The second example I'd like to give is from Michael Jordan. So when he was in high school, he was rejected by his coach because he said, "You are only 6 feet 6 inches height tall, and that is short to be selected in the basketball team." Can you imagine if Michael Jordan said, "Oh yeah, I'll just leave this game"? But he persisted. He came back. He practiced, and in 1984 he was 21 years old by then. He wanted to be sponsored by Adidas, which was a very big company at that time, and he had a few other, but Adidas didn't agree. And Nike, in 1984, it was a struggling a company. They trusted the skills of this young boy, Michael, and offered him a 500,000 per year contract. But they had 3 conditions: that he should win Rookie of the Year, become an All-Star, and or score on average 20 points per game. So the third point was the easiest. You can imagine how difficult the other ones would be. And not to many people's surprise, he covered all the 3 points, and he got the sponsorship. But what is more wonderful to realize is that Nike sold the like $100 million worth of shoes in the next 1 year, and Michael Jordan is right now the most he makes around $1.3 billion per year with Nike right now. What he says is that I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career, lost 300 games, 26 times my team trusted me to take the winning shot, and I missed. I failed over and over again, and that is why I succeed. Well, by mistake, I show the next slide, but I feel like if it was an Indian story, it would be very much like Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, where sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're struggling and sad. But I think success and failure go hand in hand. For me, for my company, for what I believe in, we deal with the stories of very interesting set of people. We call them VIP. So for the conversation ahead, I'll refer VIP as visually impaired people. And before I talk about some stories from our VIPs, I'd love to share what we do. Already, the what we do as a company was shared. So we designed for inclusive websites, apps, services by following the WCAG accessibility standards. Well, I'd request everyone to go Google WCAG accessibility standards, what they are. And the second aspect we take into consideration is the user perspective of our VIP World community members. So WCAG accessibility is a guideline set by World Web Consortium, and it is basically a set of instructions that help When websites and web tools are properly designed and coded, people with disabilities can use them. So developers, designers, everybody should follow these. Secondly, what we do is we take into consideration the user perspective of our VIPs. We bring them in and we make them go through the website and try to understand if their inputs would improve, in general, the website for other VIPs. So you can look at our community through Facebook, VIP World Community. We have some members on our WhatsApp group. Right now, we have 160 plus in our community, but we dream of increasing this community to 285 million. Today, I'm going to talk about a couple of VIPs from our community who have shown a lot of inspiration to us, to everyone. So John Furness is a woodworker. He lost his sight when he was quite young, but he wanted to be a woodworker, and he persisted, and he kept practicing how to use chisel and all these instruments. And eventually, he says, give yourself grace and practice your craft consistently to reach where you would like to reach. Our second inspiration would be Marcelo. So he's a skateboarder and a musician. I mean, for me, I would never imagine doing skateboarding. But our VIP, he cannot see very well. He is completely blind. And he says, I still do everything I love. I also like that I practice hard to adapt to the sport, and I learn how to skate blind on my own. If you want to read more in detail about our inspiration VIPs, you can log into the website. We have detailed stories there. About me, so how I would relate my story with success and failure. Well, I'm from Nepal, and after my secondary school, I went to India to study in Bhilai, and then on move forward in my career and life. So in the first go, I'll explain a bit about some stories from my life in Nepal, India, and Chile. Well, Nepal is home. That's where the family is, and I think it's the first place, first and the last school of life. That is where I think in my family we have been very receptive to accepting failures. I know that they will be there, whatever happens, and that is very important to give confidence to people so that we can go back even if we don't succeed. And even though I understand that sometimes they don't agree or understand, but they always wish the best for us. So even if your parents or people or friends don't agree with you, you just need to accept that they do this only for our benefit and our betterment. One story I'd like to share while studying in Bhilai. So in the 12th standard, I went to IIT Mumbai's Fest, Techno Fest, and there was this robotic competition where we had to create a car which would race or compete or do some activities. Well, we did reach to the semifinals. We beat a lot of teams from all around India, and it was very pleasant. We were winning, but then we lost in the semifinal in a very bad way. Our car just died in the middle, and a lot of people were laughing and cheering for the other team. It felt bad, but I think that was the first incident where I realized losing is a part of game. My second failure story I would like to share is from one of the college festivals that we organized in NIT Jalandhar. So in my third year, me and my friends, we created something called technical roadies. Roadies, as you are mostly aware of the reality we show. And based on that, we want to create something technical and still have some fun, elimination. It was the first event, responsibility as a leader. And I was also the first third year student who was event head. So it was a lot. The t-shirt you see, this is the first design in terms of any design I did. And this whole experience was wonderful because we created some wonderful things. We had a magnet race. We created something around reflection. We had a GPS as well. But during this time, I think it was very difficult because this is the first time I was handling money, and my friend was always he's asking me where did all the funds go, and I had no clue. Well, we did create these things, but it was a very difficult experience. However, friends being friends, even in like difficult times, everybody celebrated. And of course, somebody's birthday, I had to be treated as well. Even after getting those bumps, they feed me, and we celebrated. Even if we lost some money, we had some failures, friends were always there. We all did country, and we celebrated our event, success or failure. Another story around my failures would be my first startup, which I did in Delhi. It was a concierge service for senior citizens. So bringing them care buddy, a real person who would take old people who are living alone in New Delhi to the hospital, running around in the hospital, uh, helping them get the reports and updating all the children on a dashboard. So we started the brand with the name of Uber Health. And then we got an email, wonderful email from Uber saying we should change the name. We had some decent number of clients. I made a lot of mistakes, but I think this was the phase where I learned the most. I could go around, pitch in different forums, speak to people, try to understand what is working, what is not, create a small team, get some press. However, the biggest challenge was to manage the hustle, to manage how I would deal with day-to-day work. And I believe a small thing such as shikanji really helped. While running around in Delhi in hot weather, I think this was the best help I got. A glass of shikanji cools your mind. So you need to find your shikanji or something that helps you to cool you down during your testing years. One more example I'd like to share about my struggles was from Startup Chile. So it's a startup program offered by the Chilean government. You can all Google about it. And it is a wonderful experience. I was one of the participants among international people from all around the world. It's a beautiful city. But the issue is nobody speaks anything besides Chilean. And it's a very broken Spanish. So although I was learning that, one incident that really impacted me a lot was I was having a meeting in a cafe, and some guy, he robbed me. He took my laptop bag right under my chair, and I could not do anything. It was just 2 minutes. It hurt a lot because I thought all my life in India nobody could rob me, and I'm here in Chile, and someone just takes my laptop easily, so easily. The challenge was I tried to run around, find the police, go around, ask people, but nobody knew the language. So it really hurt. It was a difficult day. However, what I really learned from that day is like language should not be a barrier, and how can I use it for my favor? So after that incident, I think 2 months after, there was a talk we had to give in a university, and the lady besides me, she was my translator. And what I did is I compared a football game, Chile and was playing Argentina a couple of nights ago, and Chile won the Latin American final. So it was a big thing for Chileans. They were very happy, and I took the example of that to demonstrate how entrepreneurship is, and that really connected with people. So I would say the thought of not being able to communicate when I was robbed, I took that as a challenge and tried to use it in my favor. So I've done a bit of talking. It would be very nice to hear from you. What happened in your life that you never expected? Something like my experience in Chile. So I'm going to start the poll again. I request everyone to answer this for me. I'm sorry, there seems to be a technical problem there. I cannot open this poll. But anyway, we can discuss this in the question answer round. You can share what experience like that did you have or face in your life. Moving forward, so when I was in when I came to London, this was the second phase of my life where I had to start from zero, and during these years, it was more of a fight with myself to keep going, to accept that maybe yes, I'm not able to succeed right now, but I had this belief that if I keep continuing, I will reach where I want to. And that journey wasn't easy because I have around 1,000+ rejection emails in my inbox, trying to explain what I want, what I would like to do, and it wasn't so easy to convince people here. Something I learned during this journey was not take risks more and more, but rather minimize the risks. It's about taking small steps and solving problems in a small quantity and then go forward. During this journey, I was also fired by 5 different jobs. Here, the job market, the environment, it's very competitive. It's very difficult for an immigrant to come and understand the culture and the competition. So I think those 5 jobs, they taught me a lot. And here, the hustle is day and night. People here study, work, and it is a continuous process. However, this whole experience made me hustle, and then right now I have a team of 15 people from different parts of the world who are helping and contributing towards making VIP World Services a success. I have one VIP, Nicole, in my team who teaches assistive tech technologies. And what we apply, how we work, is through service design. Service design is a process where you can solve problems while interacting with the humans dealing with those problems. And in very simple terms, I would like to say how the process works is there are 4 phases. The 4 phases are divided into two diamonds. So in the first phase, you discover, you research, and you collect information online, or you speak with the people, you make interviews. Then you define whatever you collected by synthesizing all that data, brainstorming, and then you define the problem better. So a lot of times we think that, like for example, decrease in sales is a problem, or unsatisfactory customers, that's a problem. but these are not the problem. These are the effects. So we need to define the cause. And by doing research and synthesizing that data, we reach a point where we define exactly the problem. And once we do that, then we can iterate. We can think of developing ideas, solutions to deal with those problems. And therefore we come to develop stage, and then finally testing with the people and to identify if the solution makes sense. So you can visit my website ishanvjha.com, where I have some projects and methodologies. If you have more questions, happy to discuss. But for the purpose of explanation, I would just little bit explain how the discover stage works. And what we do here is we do focused interviews. If the research says that if you interview 5 users or 5 people related to the topic, you will understand 80% of people's views. And these interviews, these processes are, it comes with a lot of practice. You can access a lot of information if you just Google service design or try to understand double diamond approach. You will get a lot of content, and it is very useful to solve problems, I'd say. With this approach, we, in our journey of VIP World Services, we understood that VIPs face a lot of problem in traveling, as you can imagine. And how we understood that is through empathy, is through understanding the perspective of our VIPs. And we created our first service, Travel Hands, which will be a mobile app in the future, pairing VIP with cited and verified volunteers in London to walk together from point A to point B. So imagine a VIP trying to find a volunteer nearby as an Uber, like a Uber cab, and this volunteer would reach the person, say hello, and take them from that point to their end destination. And this service we are going to start in London as soon as the lockdown is uplifted. Well, I personally, I follow Richard Branson's 9 principles, which helps me to deal with everything literally. And the first thing is just do it, start small, try to engage and go about doing things, trying things. Having fun while working is one of the most important things I feel. If you don't enjoy something, then probably you're not doing, you're not opting for the right work. Be bold, stand up for what you believe in, challenging yourself every day. Something where you look forward to waking up and dealing with that topic. Trying to be independent, standing on your own feet, but also living the moment in the present, which is one of the most difficult things to do, but I think very important. Valuing family and friends. I think without them, it is very difficult to fail. And when you fail, you become sad. And if you, family and friends really help uplift the moment. And that is, I think, for me personally, it has been very helpful. I'm very glad that I have a wonderful family and amazing friends who have supported me through very difficult times. Having respect for everyone, for everything we do, and doing something good, even something small, or that really helps to create impact, I believe. So given these things, I would say you should choose your thesis topic very wisely. When I came here to London, I chose the topic of how can I increase employability for the visually impaired people in UK. And that was a topic which I figured out after a lot of research. And I joined a charity and I work with different people here. I believe that thesis is a place where you can fail a lot. So choose your thesis topic wisely and try to engage and try to research before choosing that. Well, it'll be wonderful to know if you guys are aware what is your thesis topic. We can go back to Slido, and I'll start a poll again. So, requested you share some responses. I'll give a minute and I'll be back. Well, so it is fine to not know. It is fine to first accept that yes, you like to explore more. As I can see, there are more people who are aware of not knowing the topic. But I think that's the time where you start researching on this. I'll keep this poll open, so feel free to answer. So a few more slides just to finish my presentation here. I feel choosing the project is a very difficult topic. Something my friends always, while picking up the research topic in my bachelor's, it was very difficult and we felt like shooting ourselves. And right now, what I can propose, what I think we can do together at this moment is that we're trying to identify how to engage VIP based at India during the pandemic. There are 50 million VIPs, 15 million in India, and they are struggling to connect online or interact or go about doing things. So what can you think about it? What is your idea? You can go through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you type VIP World Services, we are using two hashtags: VIP World Hackathon, VIP World Innovation. We would love to create a hackathon based on the signups, and I will inform you in the near future. However, register with us, and we'll keep you posted. So thank you for this wonderful opportunity. I really enjoyed. Love to answer all the questions. Should I stop my screen share, or is it okay if I keep it here for a while?
You can stop for your wish, sir. It's fine.
Okay.
So, any participant want to ask any question? Can raise your hand. Can use the option raise your hand. Okay, Diptanshu, you can ask your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ishan, sir, for the information. Sir, I want to know uh, the failure. We all must accept failure to be successful in life. But in present generation or in today's world, if you'll find that even students who are not able to clear the 10th board or 12th board, they also commit suicide. Means if they are not able to accept the failure in life. So, what will be your suggestion to change their perspective about this, sir?
Well, it's a big fight, right? Like there are so many different perspectives. I mean, I can only tell, I can only say is that exams don't define you. Um, Exams and these benchmarks set by society or schools, they don't define us. We are humans. We are better than animals. You know, we have choice. Uh, we can create something wonderful. We don't have to follow the rule set. And I believe if you believe in yourself, you won't try to fit yourself in that system, but rather try to help that system grow. Um, Something, if you can imagine, like how does a VIP, a 10th standard VIP, manage his life? If you can see that a boy who's in 10th standard and completely blind can work, can study, can hustle, can smile, then I don't see a reason why you should commit suicide.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Next, I think Ichit wants to ask something.
Uh, Hello, Ishan sir, and hello everyone. Um, I would like to thank you for a wonderful presentation. I want to ask a technical question. That how service design can help decide a particular thesis uh, regarding the future of any person, like how a person can decide to using service design about his entrepreneur growth.
Well, interesting question. Thank you. Service design is a tool. It's a skill that is created, that has been created by designers in London. In London, just to explain the context, in London there are 150 plus service design agencies, and majority of them have been acquired by IT Indian IT giants like TCS, Wipro, all these big companies, Tech Mahindra. They have they have bought small service design agencies in London. So it is something that is very scalable. It is something that is used to identify problems quickly, which is just by researching. I think researching your customers, the people interacting with the problem, and trying to connect the dots and creating these small tests, creating these very small, prototypes and testing them so that like you can save time and you can save money. I'll give an example with my startup, Travel Hands. We want to make this a mobile application, but we haven't developed the mobile app right now because we want to test the concept first. And how we are testing the concept is through a call center system. So we have created a call center team, and VIPs and volunteers, they're interacting with us through phone calls, WhatsApp, and we're going to test this for the next 2-3 months, understand how people deal with this problem, if our solution makes sense, and then based on that we will create a mobile app. So this will save a lot of money by wasting on creating a mobile app. I think that's how service design is useful.
Thank you so much for your answer. And I think this service design tool is very effective in becoming a successful entrepreneur. Thank you.
Thank you, Ichit sir. I think Advitiya Kashyap Jha wants to ask something.
Hello, good morning, all. And Ishan, Mr. Ishan, it was really a informative talk which you had. I would also like to thank the panel members for such a wonderful session. So first of all, I'd like to give a little background on my questions. I have two questions to this. So I could very much relate to what Mr. Ishan was talking about, the ups and downs in life, and considering what the failures are usually look up to in a way that it's considered a down. Even when we read in ECG, I myself being a medical student, we're always used to monitor an ECG based on ups and downs. The graph is always ups and downs. So it's very necessary for the graph to go up as well as down. And a constant straight line means death. It means there's no life. So my question with this background is to Ishan, Mr. Ishan would be, why is it this dogmatic approach considering the failure that a failure is always looked very pessimistically? It's something negative. It's something not good about. It's viewed very negatively in society. For a person, it's a fear. It's very stigmatic that no, I should not fail in life. It's why can't it be normalized is what my question is. That yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's also a good thing in life. How can we work on this philosophy or psychology of human mind?
Well, in the beginning, we saw that a definition of success and failure, there's only a very small difference. There's only just this word "not" that changes the whole meaning. And also, we learned that the definition of success and failure, both of them are similar in the context that they are relative, and it's contextual to everyone. So I think success to some people, maybe, if you eat 3 chapatis a day, that's success to you, but it may not be success to a wrestler who needs to eat 6 chapatis a day. So I feel like it's very relative. And answering your question, normalizing success and failure, I don't know if we can normalize that, or we should normalize that. I think this is very necessary to learn, to grow, to spread out. So I would just say that we should accept both of these aspects and consider that it is relative. And for me, what I feel is that success or failure, it doesn't matter. I think it's the same for me. What I believe in are the 9 principles by, let's say, Richard Branson, which I just showed. Having fun, doing something good, trying to create something beautiful. That's how I see things. And during that journey, things will fall apart. There will be problems, and it's fine. I think that's how life is. I don't know if I answered your question, but I believe that the highs
Yeah,
and
very much. Yeah.
ECG, it's a very beautiful example.
Yeah. So yeah, so this was my first question, and the second would be, failures are not like a single event. It is repetitive in everyone's life because it's a long life which an average person lives. So I mean, what if out of those repetitive failures, maybe we're taking lessons, but still we are failing. Maybe we're taking lessons out of each failures, but still we're failing. So I mean, what should be the approach to such things? Should we say that, oh, I am not learning? Is it why am I failing? These are the things which people might question. After a repetitive failure. So what do you suggest approaching in such situations to people like this?
I think you answered your question by yourself. Like, you need to question, why are you failing again and again, and if you should review and try
Right.
to in a different way. Try
Right.
something. I think if you just see how big companies, for example, like Nokia, it stopped failing, it stopped innovating, it did want to try new things, and then it's gone. Nokia is nowhere in competition. If you see, if you can think of any sportsman, he or she has to adapt. He or she has to quickly learn and try to counter the tricks of other sportsmen. If you think of actors or actresses, they have to try to innovate. I mean, I don't agree with our superstars jumping from a 50-story building rather than a 100-story building, and say like, oh, I'm failing in a different way. But it's just that it's relative. Um,
Yeah, I mean, that's very much on point to my questions. Thank you so much, Mr. Ishan.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think Riddhesh Agarwal wants to ask something.
Sir, thank you. First of all, thank you for your knowledge, sir. So I want to ask that as you are the man with many failures and an ultimate success, sir, uh, which one was the particularly the hardest one, and how you overcome it?
Well, right now, I don't think I'm successful yet. My goal is to bring 285 million visually impaired people around the world live happily. So it's a big task. I would say when that happens, I'll be successful. Now, if I consider like failures, there's so many. I shared few. I think I wouldn't say that there's any particular failure that is very big, but yes, there are some moments which really, I'd say, hurt, or which really made me think that, hey, it is time. It is time to try and fail in a different way. As I think it is something of a follow-up question from some previous, I think the other person who asked this question. So I was failing in some direction continuously, and then I got like used to it, and I was like, yeah, this is how it is. I'm learning. But then there was a moment in life where I had to change my arena so that like I can learn more. I can make a shift. And for me, it was when I came to London, which was after 7-8 years of work experience. I thought that I knew a lot, but I think this city taught me a lot. It's very competitive, and you cannot. The scope of failure is very few, so you have to run fast. You have to hustle much more than than I think anywhere else in the world that I experience. So I'd say experience in London.
Thank you, sir.
I think Kaushiki wants to ask something. Kaushiki?
Hello, Ishan. So, thanks for an interactive session. From what I understand, you're an entrepreneur. You're not afraid of taking risks. So, you yourself said have faced failures. And along the journey, how did you know when and at which stage to stop? I think the previous Mr. Advitya asked the same thing. So, what I want to understand is at which stage do people choose to stop and analyze the pattern of failure? I have two questions. First one is this.
Yes, I think it's you will realize it yourself. I mean, if you keep doing, if you're getting the same results again and again, right? If you're doing, let's say, for example, I think the other important aspect for failing is how do we record the learnings from each experience. So we need to be very smart to understand how we design the test, and measure the progress. If we don't measure the progress, or if we don't calculate, if we don't keep the data and don't learn from it, probably that's the scenario where we will not realize that we are not growing. So I think constantly reviewing can help do that.
Okay. So, my other question is since it's a challenging field, how do you visualize your company to work with even more VIPs efficiently in the future? Travel Hands is yet to be taken to the trial level, right? So, what are the other things that you keep in mind in order to survive and to excel in the field, and more importantly, to help VIPs?
Well, Interesting question. So, I mean, we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop because there's a pandemic and we cannot go out, right? I mean, VIPs are right now staying at home. They are getting much more bored than you and I because we can see, we can go to Netflix, we can, kill our time in different ways. But for VIPs around the world, using assistive tech, trying to use digital devices is a big challenge. And it's because we designers, developers haven't really stepped up the game. And it is a big fight. It's a big fight. It'll take a lot of time. However, doing something small but impactful, that's what we believe in. So right now we have, we're doing we're engaging our community in different ways. We are trying to teach VIPs to learn using digital devices. We have assistive tech lessons organized. We have a new initiative where we are bringing VIPs from UK to give lessons to VIPs from Nepal, people who are, who don't have a lot of exposure. These are small things, but I think they're helping to, create impact in the direction. And I think it's very important to dream first. If I don't dream that, hey, sometime in the world, every VIP can go out as freely as you and I are going out. Without that, it won't happen. So I've dreamt it, and I think I'll do all my best to make that into a reality.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Sir, one question is there from VC Lakhanpur student. Sunny, he wants to ask, good afternoon, sir. I am student of VC Lakhanpur. My question is how to overcome fear of failure.
Well, yes, it is one of the most important and the most critical things. Fear of failure. How to overcome fear of failure? I would just say what I did is I can share what I did is I started writing. So I kept writing and I started making notes about what am I afraid of. Secondly, that helped to clear out how I can deal with this and who can I get help with. So through my childhood, who has who has impacted my behavior, my thought process. While writing, I found those names. And then the second thing I wrote was, what do I need to ask these people that can help me? Questions I want to ask people, or the questions around why I fear failure. It became easier to get the answers. So I would suggest for you write them, and once you have the questions, go and find those answers through your teacher, friends, family. I used to ask these questions to my Nanaji. He was always there to support my father, all the other family members, uncles, all have been very kind to give advice. Whenever I'm really scared, I think I don't apply logic. I just go and talk to my mom, and she just says something wonderful, something nice, and it feels okay. And then I go back again to dealing with those problems. When you are really you have no clue, I think you should just do something that makes you happy. And once you have that feeling, then go out again and deal with that problem. That's what I do.
One more question is there, sir, from Girish Sapra. Girish, sir.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, sir. I'm Dr. Girish Sapra from NIT Jalandhar. First of all, sir, thanks to you for such a wonderful session. Actually, sir, I am just about to complete my PhD. And at the end of the PhD, I'm realizing that I have more interest towards entrepreneurship. But at this stage, I'm afraid, little bit afraid to switch to the entrepreneurship, being from the academic background. So I just want to take your suggestions regarding this, whether uh, how I should leap into the entrepreneurship.
Well, it's a wonderful thing, sir, that you are trying to uh, move your attention to entrepreneurship. So, I think if I may ask, what area, what's the problem you are trying to solve?
Sir, I am basically exploring the rural technology sector because being from mechanical engineering background, I have a strong hand in machineries and making reliable equipments to uplift the rural society. Basically from Punjab, I'm thinking to start from the Punjab level.
Yeah.
And I'm just a little bit confused that being whether I will be able to generate the source of income as a family. Yes.
Well, the first step is if I may suggest the service design approach I apply. The first step is very simple. Go about doing the research. Make a document. Put down all the questions you have. Why are you doing this? Who is it for? What problem are you solving? For how many people? Who will pay for this? Once you get these questions there, you have some answers. Try to find the people related to this service. It could be experts, it could be farmers, it could be government officials who are trying to innovate there. Find those profiles and go and speak them. Make some questionnaire. When you interact with them, note down all these inputs. Once you have these inputs, keep it to them, keep it to yourself, put it in front of you, and then see is it worth it? Is it something that is viable? If you're struggling to understand, take help from friends, take other people's perspective, from mentors, advisors. But you have to collect your own data. You have to do your own research. Everything has to have a facts. Everything has to have data. It has to have a backing, and you can put that all together in a document. I believe. In our university, NIT Jalandhar, Khosla sir has been he's very active in startups, entrepreneurship. So probably he or somebody else would give you advice. If you still struggle, I think you can go to Bidipur, which is 1 kilometer away from our college. There you can sit, you can meet a lot of truck drivers, and you can share your idea with them. You'll definitely get a lot of feedback from different people. So collect everything and try to visualize the data and then make decisions based on that.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
I think any other participant who wants to ask something can raise your hand. No more hands are raised, I think. Any participant wants to ask something can use raise your hand option. I think no more hands are there, sir. So I think question and answers are over. Session are over. So can we move further, Divakar sir? Okay. Anshu?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Ishan sir, for answering all those questions with utmost knowledge and your experience. And now, moving ahead with the feedback session, I would like to invite Mr. Vivek Rathore, sir. Please, can you take forward the feedback session, sir?
Sure. For feedback session, I would like to call some of our students. So in this series, I would like to call Uday Upadhyay. He's from first year. Uday, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Hmm.
Hello, sir. My name is Uday Upadhyay, and I'm currently pursuing my BTech degree in ET&T from GEC Bilaspur. First of all, thank you, Ishan sir, for your wonderful session. Uh, Sir, I want to discuss an incident of my life. Can I, sir?
Yeah, please.
Sir, when I was in 10th class, uh, I participated in science exhibition, which was national levels competition. So I was rejected in स्कूल लेवल मैं स्कूल लेवल में ही रिजेक्ट हो गया था बट मुझे उस टाइम एक्सपीरियंस हो गया था कि मेरा उसमें इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं था और ना ही मुझे उसके बारे में नॉलेज था देन आई अगेन ट्राई और फिर मैंने 11th क्लास में एक नया प्रोजेक्ट बनाया और उसके बाद फिर मैंने ब्लॉक लेवल पे उस कंपटीशन को ले गया और ब्लॉक लेवल में फिर मैं रिजेक्ट हो गया बट उस टाइम मेरा क्या था मेरा डर खत्म हो गया था फेल होने का फिर मैंने 12th में फिर से ट्राई किया उसके बाद मैंने अपने स्कूल में फर्स्ट पोजीशन वो अचीव किया उसके बाद फिर मैंने ब्लॉक में भी फर्स्ट पोजीशन दिया फिर जोन में भी फर्स्ट पोजीशन फिर स्टेट में सेकंड पोजीशन आया और फिर मैंने नेशनल लेवल में भी जाने के लिए मेरा सिलेक्शन हो गया था बट इट वाज माय बैड लक कि उस टाइम कोरोना आ गया था तो फिर मैं जा नहीं पाया बट मुझे उस टाइम पता चल गया था कि मैं जो फेल हो रहा था वो मेरी जो गलती थी उससे मैं सीख गया था सर ये मेरा एक्सपीरियंस था स्कूल लाइफ का अभी मेरे को और आगे सीखना है सर और आपसे मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा इंस्पिरेशन मिला उसके लिए बहुत बहुत थैंक यू सर
थैंक यू थैंक यू
Thank you, Uday. And I would like to tell sir, the person who is behind designing the certificate was Uday Upadhyay only. In the feedback, I would like to call now Ritesh Agarwal. He is also from first year student. Ritesh, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Sir, thank you for your precious words, sir. So I have learned a lot today. As I would also thank to GC Bilaspur for this session. And thank you, sir. This was an inspiration.
Thank you, Ritesh. Now I would like to call Sanya Somawar. Sanya. I think Sanya is not there. Okay. Sejal Devangan. Sejal. Okay. I think we are not there. Kamaksha Suri. हाँ, yes sir.
विवेक, ये वोट ऑफ थैंक्स बच्चों के होने के बाद मुझे कॉल कर लीजिएगा 2 मिनट के लिए.
हाँ, जी सर, sure. Okay. So,
Yes.
Kamaksha, are you there?
Yes, sir.
हाँ.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, one and all present here. Thank you so much, Ishan sir, for your wonderful presentation. And sir, I would like to सर मैं आपके कुछ पॉइंट्स आपको हाईलाइट कराना चाहती हूँ कि आपने जो वीआईपी वर्ल्ड कम्युनिटी के बारे में बताया और अपनी लाइफ की जर्नी के बारे में बताया और सर्विस डिजाइन के बारे में बताया तो हमें बहुत कुछ नया कुछ सुनने को मिला और जो कि हम अवेयर नहीं थे उससे आपने अवेयर कराया हमको और आपने जो 9 प्रिंसिपल्स के बारे में बताया कि जस्ट डू इट हैव फन बी बोल्ड एंड challenge yourself, stand on your own feet, live the moment, value the family and friends, have respect, and do some good. These are really inspiring to me and my all friends. And thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kamakshi. So this was with the session of feedback. So Anshu, you can continue now.
Yes, sir. And now moving ahead in the series, I would like to invite for the vote of thanks, sir.
Shruti Dubey will be giving the vote of thanks. She is also a student. Shruti, are you there?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, one and all. I am Shruti Dubey from ET&T branch, first year student, GEC Bilaspur. First, I would like to thank respected Principal Sir and respected Devaka Mishra Sir for providing support to organize this webinar. Special thanks to Mr. Ishan Vats Sir for inspiring us by sharing your experience. We learned not to lose with failure, but to start with it. Thank you very much, sir. And also, I would like to thanks to the audience for their interaction and patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you. Okay. So, Divakar sir, can we conclude now?
Yes,
Vivek.
Dr. Chawla wants to speak something, please.
Yes,
sir. Ji, sir. Ji. Thank you all. Thank you, Ishan, for a wonderful session. Thank you all the participants, audience who attended this. As we are towards closing of World Bank Project Equip 3, so I feel proper and appropriate to share my feelings here with this August gathering. Respected Divakar sir, thank you so much for all your blessings. Sir, जिस समय हम लोगों ने NBA का सफर शुरू किया था और आप कॉलेज पहली बार आए थे और आपने कॉलेज को असेस किया था और आपने हम लोगों को मोटिवेट किया था कि हमको बेस्ट परफॉर्म करना चाहिए और सर हम लोगों ने आपके गाइडेंस में चलना शुरू किया और आज जब जर्नी में हम टारगेट की तरफ चल रहे हैं, क्लोजिंग की तरफ चल रहे हैं, तो अपने पूरे कॉलेज की तरफ से, स्टाफ की तरफ से, एम्प्लॉयज, स्टूडेंट्स की तरफ से सर मैं तहे दिल से आपका धन्यवाद करता हूं। आपके आशीर्वाद से, आपकी एबल गाइडेंस से, प्रोत्साहन से हमको 4 एनबीए मिल सके सर। हमारे यहाँ 2 पीएचडी रिसर्च सेंटर शुरू हो 4 पीएचडी रिसर्च सेंटर शुरू हुए सर। एमटेक थर्मल इंजीनियरिंग स्टार्ट हुआ और लगभग 40 नए लैब हम डेवलप कर सके और छात्रों के हित में सैकड़ों ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम स्टूडेंट्स के लिए, स्टाफ के लिए, वेबिनार्स ये हम ऑर्गेनाइज कर सके। अब पेपर पब्लिकेशंस भी शुरू हो गए हैं सर रिसर्च सेंटर आने के बाद से और जैसा प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी सर ने कहा है कि इस कॉलेज को वो इंडिया के टॉप 200 में देखना चाहते हैं, तो मुझे पूरा विश्वास है सर आपके गाइडेंस में इस टारगेट को भी हम लोग अचीव कर सकेंगे। एनपीआईयू फैकल्टी के लिए जो बेहतर हो सके सर, कृपया मेरा निवेदन है, विशेष ध्यान रखिएगा, जिस मंच से भी इनका हम भला कर सकें कोशिश करें सर। फिर से पूरे महाविद्यालय परिवार की ओर से आपको धन्यवाद देता हूं सर, अपने सभी छात्रों की ओर से भी कि आपके सहयोग से, आपके आशीर्वाद से इस महाविद्यालय को नई ऊंचाइयां मिल सकी। थैंक यू सो मच।
विवेक जी, आई वुड लाइक टू से समथिंग। डॉक्टर चावला जी, उपस्थित समस्त पार्टिसिपेंट्स, ये बड़े सौभाग्य का विषय है हमारे लिए कि एक जंगल के आदमी हम बस्ती की तरफ आए और पढ़े लिखे लोगों से वास्ता पड़ा और बहुत सारे अच्छे लोग मिले, बहुत सारे डॉक्टर चावला, डॉक्टर जी.के. अग्रवाल, विवेक, बहुत सारी टीम में बहुत अच्छे लोग मिले जिन्होंने पूरा काम किया है। ये तो नहा कि हम लोगों को क्रेडिट मिलता है, असली खिलाड़ी तो जो मैदान में खेलता है उसका पूरा क्रेडिट है। डॉक्टर चावला ने पूरी टीम का अच्छे से नेतृत्व किया है और ये प्रोजेक्ट का क्लोज है, ये तो मतलब किसी दूसरे चीज़ का स्टार्ट है। तो इसको ये न माने कि ये प्रोजेक्ट क्लोज है तो मतलब बाकी चीज़ क्लोज है। और अभी फ़िलहाल टेक्यू फैकल्टी के लिए तो आप अगर रखना चाहें और वो रहना चाहें और यदि कोई पर्टिकुलरली इसी क्षेत्र का रहने वाला है तो फ़िलहाल तो पार्ट टाइमर के रूप में आप अप्रैल से इन्हें रख सकते हैं, ताकि एनबीए का जो आपका एक अचीवमेंट है वो व्यर्थ ना जाए, जीरो ना हो जाए। इसीलिए 4 में पुराना आपका ख़त्म हो रहा है, 5वें के लिए आप जा रहे हैं। तो एक अभी फ़िलहाल ये है, और कोई दूसरी संभावना अगर बनेगी उसमें ये फैकल्टी रहेगी, SPIU रहेगा नहीं रहेगा, उसके बारे में तो अभी सब कुछ अधर में है, तो अभी तो कुछ नहीं कह सकते, लेकिन ये सब जो चीज़ है, और मुझको सब लोगों से सीखने का मौका मिला, और मेरा सौभाग्य था कि मैं अच्छे लोगों के साथ जुड़ा, और इंजीनियरिंग का कुछ ABCD अगर कुछ सीख पाया थोड़ा बहुत, तो आप लोगों के सहयोग से, सानिध्य से, अच्छे लोगों के संपर्क में आया। और सबसे बड़ी चीज़ कि अगर एक भी स्टूडेंट का 1% भी अगर भला हुआ हो, तो मैं अपने आप को धन्य मानूंगा कि मेरा ऊपर ईश्वर की कृपा रही कि शायद कुछ थोड़ा बहुत एक माध्यम बना के उन्होंने किया। आप सभी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। ईशान, मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि आप अगर बिलासपुर और हमारे बाकी कॉलेजेस लखनपुर, जगदलपुर के साथ अगर कोई प्रोजेक्ट, लाइव प्रोजेक्ट करते हैं कुछ बच्चों के साथ, तो वो लोग आपके साथ जुड़ के इसमें कर सकते हैं। वो उनको जो है इंटर्नशिप का या कुछ और मौका मिले तो उन सब के लिए एक बहुत अच्छी चीज़ होगी। आप सभी को धन्यवाद। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
सर, आपको मैं बधाई देना चाहूंगा। देश में छत्तीसगढ़ का नाम आपने ऊंचा किया और छत्तीसगढ़ को बेस्ट परफॉर्मिंग स्टेट में आप ला सके सर अपनी लीडरशिप से, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है सर। थैंक यू सर, एक बार फिर से बधाई आपको।
ये सब जो है पहले मैडम थी, उस मीना सर थे, ACS मैडम रेणु पिल्ले, विवेक आचार्य, पुष्पेंद्र मीणा, और आप सभी लोग जो फील्ड में हैं, सारे प्रिंसिपल साहबान लोग, जगदलपुर में डॉक्टर खान, डॉक्टर खरे, यहाँ पर डॉक्टर ML अग्रवाल, GK अग्रवाल, सबसे बड़ा हमारे SBS नेताम सिंघई जी और उनकी पूरी टीम, क्योंकि टीम के बाकी प्लेयर्स जो है वो अननोन रहते हैं, पर्दे के पीछे नेपथ्य वाले रहते हैं, जिनको कि नींव का पत्थर है, लेकिन सबसे महत्वपूर्ण लोग भूमिका उन्हीं की है। तो उन सब का कंट्रीब्यूशन है कि जो थोड़ा बहुत कुछ अचीव हो पाया अगर, और सभी आप लोगों के मेहनत से हुआ है, और हम लोग तो नाह की क्रेडिट लेते हैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच। थैंक यू।
मेरी टेक्यूब टीम भी बधाई के पात्र है सर। प्रोफेसर शुक्ला, प्रोफेसर सक्सेना, प्रोफेसर
बहुत अच्छा
उमाशंकर,
काम किया है।
बहुत अच्छा काम। प्रोफेसर GS सिंह, प्रोफेसर संतोष, जिन्होंने प्रोक्योरमेंट का टफ टारगेट अचीव करके दिखाया, प्रोफेसर सौरभ, everyone has worked very hard sir. I give credit to them. प्रोफेसर विवेक, दीपी ने तो कमाल किया सर पूरे प्रोग्राम्स में। इनकी टीम और बच्चों ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया।
ऐसे लोगों को रिटेन कर सके तो संस्था का भला हो सकता है।
हम लोग इनको छोड़ना नहीं चाहते सर।
देखिए जो पॉसिबल हो सके।
जी, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू। नमस्कार सर।
नमस्कार।
थैंक यू। बहुत अच्छा लगा आज आप सबसे बात करके। और जैसे आप बोल रहे हैं, हम लोग हैकाथन ऑर्गेनाइज कर रहे हैं। तो आप हमारे वेबसाइट पे जाइए, सोशल मीडिया में फॉलो करिए, और प्लीज़ डू साइन अप। आप साइन अप करेंगे एंड वी कैन हैव अ कन्वर्सेशन थ्रू डिफरेंट मीन्स, एंड देन वी कैन सेट अप अ डेडलाइन। और हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि हम लोग VIPs इंडिया से कुछ VIPs को जोड़ सकें आपके साथ ऑनलाइन, और वो हैकाथन में आपको भी सीखने को मिले सर्विस डिज़ाइन और ये सारी चीज़ें। तो वी हैव अ प्लान, सो प्लीज़ डू साइन अप। थैंक यू।
ईशान जी, मेरी स्टार्टअप टीम आपके टच में रहेगी, उनको थोड़ा सा मोटिवेट करें।
जी जी,
हम लोग को स्टार्टअप्स चाहिए अपने यहाँ, थोड़ा हेल्प करिए।
बिल्कुल सर। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू। नमस्कार।
Thank you, sir. For e-certificates participant, you will be mailed a link, and the recording of this session will be mailed within an hour. And then by filling that Google form, you will getting your e-certificate in the registered email, which you will be registering in the Google form. Thank you so much.